Of course, a big part of our focus for you this Tuesday is getting you a sense of how the different provinces have done. Let's kick things off with the Eastern Cape Education Department. The MEC there is Fundile Gade. He's currently announcing their outcomes in East London. In fact, present at that briefing is also the Basic Education Minister in Sivuya Kwahube. Let's listen in.
They most probably had a fair tale and a conducive teaching and learning environment up to 2019. When they were grade 8, the class was affected by the COVID-19, as you would know. Their grade 9 year, which is crucial for the subject selection for the entry into grade 10, was equally disrupted. Their transition to the further education and training phase in 2022 with a lot of curriculum trimmings. When the schooling resumes into full mode in 2022, they were subsequently introduced to June exams, something that they have not been used to. I always emphasize this, because if you look in terms of the trajectory of 2019 up to 2022, there have been those that have arranged curriculum trimming and ultimately not being used in the examination and assessment in the current form that we're talking about. So it was then important for us not just to prepare them academically, but also emotional and psychological readiness. Hence, the Department of Social Development and the Department of Health has played a major role. Because having not done so, you would be in a crisis. Even if they were academically sound, they would not be able to face the blowing wind in the context of them having to sit formally for the examinations for the first time, with a break of examination for almost 3 years not being conducted in the process, in the current setup. So the class of 2024 represents a watershed period in the learner performance strategies in the Eastern Cape, characterized by unprecedented improvements in the average pass, bachelor passes, subject passes, as well as the performance by examination centers. The year 2024 is also marked by improved quality of school-based assessment submitted to Umalusi for resulting. The emphasis on the quality SBAs has paid a handsome gain in 2024. We are raising this, Minister, because we've got a history of school-based assessment that has got its own challenges in the province. We've got a history of schools that in the past wouldn't submit learner records. And when you issue these results, there comes a dispute. And you either go to court on that, or you are unable to reopen up schools because there are protests around what should have been done by us at that particular moment, and we have not done so. So I'm saying this change of the attitude within the state machinery itself, within the organization called education entirely, and also within the teaching fraternity, educators and also SGPs and learners, mastering the school-based assessment can be attributed to this announcement that we're going to make, Honorable Minister and colleagues. The scope and size of the examinations for 2024 is as follows. The 2024 National Certificate Public Examination catered for 117,000 candidates, made up of 102,085 full-time candidates, writing in 964 centers, and 15,964 part-time candidates who wrote in an examination centers, which were 135. That's how big the system is in terms of the province. The process of the writing, marking, and resulting was conducted with credibility and high level of integrity. The examinations were conducted over a period of 6 weeks, making it close to 44 weekdays. It was a big national project that involved over over 12,000, over 1,200 invigilators and officials across the examination centers, which is 1099. The only blemish was the high number of reported criminal incidents in the communities where candidates and schools were located. The unfortunate incident was that of the 5 candidates gang raped while preparing for the examinations in OR Tambo. However, these kids insisted in writing despite the demise. And I'm happy, Minister, to report that they all obtained bachelor passes, albeit that I was a bit moved and emotional at that time, because what comes to us, Minister, was how best do we save their lives first? Because we were of the attitude that, of course, we can give them an opportunity to write the second chance. But they then dismiss that and say, no, MEC, we are ready to write examinations. And we have to relocate them to safer places with the MEC for social development, with the MEC for health, provide psychosocial services from the Department of Social Development, provide health services from the Department of Health, and also provide security from them from the Department of Safety and Liaison. They were treated like VIPs at that period. So no one was allowed to interact with them, even in the hostels that they were located to. So today, we will witness them inside. We have invited them. They have taken us by surprise because they all obtained the bachelors. So indeed, nothing is impossible up until it has been done. The class of 2024 obtained 84.9 pass percentage, a 3.56 improvement to 81.4 pass mark of class 2023. Over the term, this represents a shift of 76.5 in 2019 to 84.9 in 2024, representing a 4.17 shift over the term. The Eastern Cape has produced a total of 352,524 pass over the term from 2022 to 2024. This one, Minister, goes back to that session that you have convened with the Vice Chancellors. The more the people of this country want basic education to provide, to prove beyond reasonable doubts that it can produce results. And the lack thereof of discussing whether the higher education has got capacity to absorb them is a problem. So I'm pleased that you have taken an initiative, and I'm applauding you for that initiative of calling these vice chancellors, all of them, under one roof, so that they understand the throughput of basic education and the implications thereof in higher education. For example, if the province has got 45,000 bachelors, where are you going to accommodate them in the province? Do the higher education universities and private colleges have the capacity of absorbing 45,000 kids that are bachelors? So I'm saying that discussion that you have initiated with the vice chancellors across the country is a groundbreaker for the country, so that you don't have kids that are walking on the streets with certificate of grade 12, with bachelors and distinctions that they have obtained via the basic education schooling system. It's a matter that the nation must not underestimate it. And I'm therefore saying, Minister, on that one, we must applaud your initiative on that one. The number of bachelor passes increased from 6.1, from 39.6 in 2024 to 45.7 in 2025. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Those ones are just guaranteed with university entries. And if then you have got universities of 1995 in 2024, you are in a crisis. There is a need of a shift in mentality of the higher education and training. Either take masters out of the school on online education or part-time education to create more space for the first entries. because they can't go on part-time. So I'm saying there is a need of a further discussion. How do you absorb this throughput that comes from various provinces, as outlined by the minister yesterday? The distinctions equally improved in the number of, we have improved in the number of discussion over the 5 years, in moving from 29,000 in 2020 to 35,640 in 2024. Year-on-year improvement have equally scaled up the 4.2 2023 to 5% in 2024. This is an evidence in the quality of pass in each subject written in 2024. Again, this is a serious matter, which you emphasized, Minister, yesterday, that the nation must begin to engage. Whether are we capable of introducing the skills required by various sectors in the economy? It can't be just about the number of kids that have passed or failed. It is a selection of subjects that must be taken at a closer range, but also how do you improve the quality inside of what you are doing? So I'm saying this emphasizes exactly what you were saying yesterday, that we need to be aggressive in ensuring that that national development plan is realized. And it will only be realized when schools are monitored very closely on the subject choices, so that we don't from time to time enforce you, Minister, and the top management of the sector to do concessions. A concession in basic education is a product of mismatch of subject choices. In actual fact, it means this kid can pass, but that pass is not going to go anywhere, because the subject choices are not proper in terms of the career path that individual must follow. So that's why I'm saying that's another area that needed a closer monitoring from the subject advisory section, the circuit management, district directors, curriculum branch, and also us as the head office, in ensuring that there is a clarity of purpose on what must be done by schools, not just educating them and then pass. What is it that they pass? Is there any relationship between the pass and the crisis that must be sorted out of unemployment outside there? So that's what we're raising, Minister. In terms of the home language, colleagues, I won't waste your time. In terms of Afrikaans, we improved from 85 to 92.1. From English, we improved from 90.1 to 94. From Xhosa, from 99.7 to 99.9. From Isotho, improved from 99.7 to 99.9. The sign language improved from 75 to 85. This is the elephant in the room, Minister. It goes beyond the sector. We must resolve this sign language. I always make an example here in the province of a kid that has been hit by a car outside here, as we witness it. That kid won't be able to converse with, first and foremost, with the police that wants to write a report on the matter. That kid won't be able to converse with the first assignment of the health in the health center. That kid won't be able to converse even in the judiciary system when that matter has been presented into court. So, solving the language issue, inclusive of the sign language in the country, will make everybody to be in a better space in terms of living their own rights as stipulated in the Constitution. In terms of the gateway subjects, Minister, the accounting, we have improved it to 81 from 76.6. Agricultural sciences at 89 from 83.9. Business studies from 81.9 to 85.6. Economics improved from 78.3 to 81. Geography improved from 87 to 89. Life sciences 76.6 to 83. Physical sciences improved from 75 to 72. Mathematics improved from 57.4 to 62.2. We are a maths and science province, Minister. Our statistics are predominantly learners that are doing maths and physics. So any strategy that we are doing here that does not talk on the pedagogy of maths and science, that strategy is going to fail. Full stop. Out of that 98,000 that were doing grade 12 this year, writing examination, 50,000 plus of them were doing maths and physics. So half of that cohort was doing maths and physics. So anything that has nothing to do with maths and physics in your strategy as basic education in the province will result into a disaster. So you need to be jealous of that space, be clarified what must be done, improve the capacity of the educators that are conducting maths and science, have memorandum of understanding with the universities that are specializing on the faculties of maths and science, so that you have got a plethora of interventions at that particular level. Improve on laboratory sciences. To what exactly would want to achieve? Without wasting time, Minister, I would want to take you to probably to the district performance. In terms of the district performance, Minister and colleagues, we have Chris Hani as number 1 at 8.5 with an improvement of 4.5 from the previous 84% of 2023, followed by Amatole East at 2 at 87.8 with an improvement of 5.4, followed by Alfred Nzo at 3 with an improvement of 2.1 at 86.9. Nelson Mandela, number 4 at 86.7 at an improvement of 3.6. Alfred Nzo as number 5 at 85.9 with an improvement of 0.8. What is noticeable here, colleagues and the minister, is that the pro-poor policies are beginning to be a force to reckon with. If you listen here, these are rural districts in the province, not urbanized one. If you listen here, the metros are not in the space of the top 3. And that then signals a serious discussion in government. What is that? What does that mean? Are you then suggesting that the performance systems of basic education are based on commitment and dedication of teachers without resources? Because the ones that are resourced are not the ones that produce results. Similar to what you were announcing yesterday, I was listening carefully to you, Minister, yesterday. Majority of the best performers nationally are coming from rural village schools. In particular, Quintile 1, Quintile 2, Quintile 3. On scarce skills subjects, maths and physics, can you ever imagine a best mathematics and physical science student in the country coming from Vembe, a rural area in the country? So this requires a serious, closer look and a discussion moving further, so that you can be able to detect what could be done in the context of trying to distribute resources. Because the more you bring resources to urban, the more they don't perform. The more you don't bring resources in the context of rural development in villages, the more they embarrass you with performance. So there is a bit of a discussion that probably, not for this sector, colleagues, don't get me wrong, for government entirely, what is the meaning of this? Because you can't have, even if you go, even in other sector departments, the performance will always be skewed towards rural, village institutions than the urban setup. So it's a matter that I think requires an attention for all of us. In terms of the curriculum interventions, colleagues, I'm trying to speed up the process. We have introduced interventions based on basic principles of improving curriculum performance. The intervention programs for the academic year included extra tuition classes in the form of morning and afternoon classes, weekend classes, vocational classes, streaming of virtual lessons, provisioning of additional learner support material, additional assessment activities, ranging from topic tests and exams, pre-June and pre-trial examinations. This is exactly what I regard is an extraordinary commitment of educators. Because all what we are talking here will only happen when we have got loyal servants of public service, not employees. Employees will get at 8 o'clock and knock out at 4:30. But these ones are going beyond that point to an extent of sacrificing their stability in families, wherein they could also be attending their own family matters, but preferred to take responsibility of government. So I'm then saying that is an indication of an extraordinary commitment that the educators we have in the province, but also in general we have in the country. In terms of the autumn classes, colleagues, we have conducted a number of lessons in trying to consolidate the content coverage and revise challenges that were cited by the subject advisors in various topics, and be able to proceed to the winter classes that also will also talk to the content that we have. But lastly was the online support for grade 12. We launched here virtual lessons, Minister, in terms of the e-learning program. We have got our own studios where we connect schools, take the best teacher to go and conduct lessons there, so that you don't have a best teacher being centralized in a single school. The provincial beneficiation of all of them, so that we can be able to deal with that. I want to, in the context of trying to applaud anyone, colleagues, we have been able to work with the NGOs, and they have supported all of us. We have been able to work with the SGB's association, traditional authorities, academics of the province have been on the spot. The business sector helped us a lot. For the first time, colleagues, that the business sector were contributing in kind and in financial resources on the examinations and camps that were run in the province. No single school was running short of food here, without government punching money there. They simply took a decision to say, what is it that MEC and HOD want us to do? And we said, okay, fine. We have issued the money in terms of the school funding norms to schools, but that money may not be enough because it's overstressed by the camps that are happening in preparing for the examination. They said, okay, fine. Allow us to feed all your schools during the examinations. Sure. During examinations, all of them must get food from us, and they organized that via the team led by the Office of the HOD up until the last day of the examinations. And I wanted to take my hat off for them and applaud on behalf of government and thank them on behalf of government for the sterling work that they have done, colleagues. The stability that we have enjoyed for the past 5 years, Minister, in terms of the social partners that we have, has indicated and give clarity to what is there. But lastly is the ability of other religious sectors helping us out, because we have got social problems that are engulfing these kids. And in the majority of cases, you needed a multidisciplined force to deal with your social workers, your therapists, your religious sector coming into the space when there is any rupture that is happening in various schools. So we were able to deal with that. What I can simply say in closing is that, colleagues, the celebration will be ending today. Unfortunately, we had to make sure that before Friday, the head office is issuing the strategy for 2025. And that strategy must be able to be plugged to all sectors across in the society. And that strategy must be plugged across to all departments of government and everybody so that we can contribute on that one. We have learned our lessons, Minister. I was talking to my team yesterday and I was saying, one reason that made KZN to be where it is from position 6 and surprised everybody is to be aggressive on the home language. Don't minimize people that are failing on home language. We must just not have any kid that fails home language, full stop. Because even if those kids can pass the content subjects, if they failed home language, then that kid has failed. That's the implication of the language policy that we have in the country. They can be level 7 in maths and physics. Once they fail the home language, then the kid has failed. Now, I'm then saying, let's have a closer look on the education, on the educators that deals with language in the province, and also a closer look on the gateway subjects so that you can preserve the momentum in terms of dealing with the fundamentals that informs the character of the sector that we have. But also create some institutes that allows them to learn as the process is unfolding towards the end of the first quarter. We must be able to know each and every kid from the levels that they've acquired. But the most intervention, Minister, as I'm landing, will be HOD, our attitude on grade 10. We must know by name grade 10s of this province why they have chosen a particular subject and what are the implications in the next coming 2 years for the subject choices that they have made, so that you are more clearer on what interventions then we must do as basic education. That will lend us not to request the minister to do concessions. I'm not sure whether you capture me correctly. That will make us not to request the minister to do concessions because we will be able to have arrested the problem at grade 10, not in grade 12, at grade 10. And 2, we must be able, HOD, to have a standardized assessment from grade 10 moving forward. Mr. Mabona, will request you so that you request your principals that at least we must be sure of the grade 10s moving forward now. They must not set papers. Papers must be set centrally. They must be set centrally so that you are sure of your grade 10s preparing for grade 11 and grade 12. Because the grade 12 work is done in grade 11. So you can't then allow them to do as it pleases them in grade 10 and 11. Because in essence, it means you will have to have a catch-up programs in perpetuity. And in actual fact, spending the money that government should have directed it to something else. So with those short comments, colleagues, I would allow you to interact with the program director. We will give you the printed version of the statement. I was just talking to it without following logistically in terms of the content and phrases that have been written here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, MC. At this point, colleagues, but before we get to the Q&A, allow me to just give the minister a moment to just give her own reflections in terms of the 2024 NSC outcomes. Over to you.
All right. Oh God. A very good morning, colleagues, and it's good to be home. And thank you very much, MEC, for the invitation to come and join you today as you are announcing your provincial results. And I want to say a huge congratulations to this province, colleagues, because this province has come a very long way over the years to get to the point where it has been. It's also incredibly encouraging to know that in South Africa today, in 2024, there's not a single province that has scored less than 84% of the pass mark in the country. And that is not something that happens overnight. That is years and years in the making, because we know that to turn an education system around takes years and years in the making. It takes the investment into the system. So it's incredibly important for us to pay tribute to those ministers and MECs who've come before us, who have essentially planted the seeds before even we arrived to say this is the direction in which we need to go. And so now finally we are able to see and reap the benefits of their hard work over the years. And so I'm incredibly proud of the Eastern Cape. But I must do a quick reflection. When I first met the MEC sometime last year, straight after my appointment, in fact, I think it was several weeks after my appointment, I met a very bold man who had a very bold vision. And he said to me, I'm telling you, Minister, 85% is possible. And when I was getting the briefing from the department, my heart swelled with so much pride, because you believed in it, and you guys did it. You believed in it and you did it. And I'm incredibly proud of you, HOD, and your team. And more importantly, the district directors who have put in the work, even in some of the harshest conditions. I'm also incredibly proud of the fact that even some of the most rural districts in this province are outperforming our metros. And that says to me that, in fact, it is those educators in those areas who are absolutely dedicated to making sure that it doesn't matter whether you come from Kanduli or Sandton, you can have an opportunity for you to be able to change your life through education. And that's the power, colleagues, and the transformative power of education. And a province like ours that is incredibly rural can produce one of the top 3 bachelor passes says there's something right that is happening in the province. And so long may it continue. Long may you continue focusing on maths and science as the key gateway subjects. We need young people who are going to be able to leave the schooling system, able to walk into institutions of higher learning, so that we can see doctors, engineers, architects, pilots coming from even some of the most rural parts of our province. That's how you transform a society. And so I'm glad that more than half, just about half of your candidates who wrote for the matric exams are actually candidates who took up maths and science. Because also that speaks to the confidence of the candidates. For a candidate to be able to pick maths and science and still stick through it until matric, it says they have the confidence to pick it and they have the confidence to know that they'll get the support. And so, colleagues, you are doing something incredibly right. But I must say in closing, the MEC is absolutely correct. The celebrations end today. And after today, we now have to focus on the 2025 academic year. I will be spending the first day of school here in the province with the MEC and the team. And there needs to be a greater focus, yes, MEC, on grade 10, but also we have to make sure that we are strengthening our foundation phase as much as possible. Grade R has become compulsory. We need to make sure that grade R is available in every nook and cranny of this province, and that it is of quality, that it's got good educators that are in there, so that we start the process early, so that we are not making children go through school 7 days a week so that we can try and get them to catch up on a curriculum. They know and they have the foundations of literacy and numeracy right at the beginning. I'm proud of the Eastern Cape. I'm proud that this is my home province, and I'm proud of the work that you've done.